Kassh from Into Boxing here, live with the man himself, Eddie Hearn.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Good. So the card Saturday, talk us through it.
Really good card. I mean, without any superstar names beneath Callum Smith, loads of 50-50s. So you start off on Facebook, you've got James Tennyson fighting Craig Evans for British, final eliminator for the British title, great fight. Then you've got Mashadod against Tom Farrell, Birkenhead against Liverpool. Then you've got Fowler against Harry Scarf, great fight as well, really important fight for Fowler to try and get that Fitzgerald rematch. And then you've got, for me, what could be the fight tonight, which is Craig Glover against Chris Smith. You know, two cruiserweights that can really punch. I see that fight going early and by knockout as well. And then, you know, refreshingly, a domestic World Super Middleweight Championship, Liverpool against London, Callum Smith, people talk about the #1 super middleweight in the world, against John Ryder, the mandatory challenger who's really earned this shot by going on a brilliant knockout run.
I mean, Callum Smith, John Ryder, is it puncher versus puncher, or will skill come into it? What do you think?
I think both guys can box. You know, Callum Smith is a very, very good technical fighter. Huge super middleweight, long reach. Ryder is awkward, he's a southpaw, he has good lateral movement as well. So I just feel that, you know, I think if I'm John Ryder, what am I thinking? Am I thinking you can't really box this kid, you know, at range? You've got to get him the inside, you've got to let those shots go. And right now he believes he has the power. You know, he thinks that he is on a great knockout run. He's been knocking people out for fun. And I think he'll be trying to knock Callum Smith out on Saturday.
I think range will come into it with anyone with a boxing mindset. Range should come into it. Do you think John Ryder has to get close and work?
Sure, yeah. I mean, he won't be able to punch him if he don't. So I think he's got to try and get on the inside. But he has the ability to do it. But Callum Smith is very good at range and also inside. And he's also a very underrated counter-puncher. So it's going to be tricky for Ryder. But, you know, a sort of war speech from Tony Sims, they're up for it. You know, they're really up for it. And this is the opportunity of a lifetime for him.
I mean, moving on from that, we've got Farrell versus Dodd. It really is a make or break for either one of them. One goes down the road, one goes back. It's simple as that. What are your predictions on that fight, and how do you think it'll pan out?
I'm not sure, actually. I mean, a lot of it depends what Sean Dodd has left. I think Sean Dodd, over the last few fights, has turned from sort of a guy who likes to have a tear-up to someone who tries to be a little bit more technical. And I think he's probably better off in this fight just going back to his old ways. I think they both are, and just go for it. I think give the fans what they want, give them a great 10 rounds. You've probably got to say Farrell is fresher. You know, he's had some tough fights, but generally, you know, he's the younger man. Huge support for Tom Farrell, and again, loads coming from Birkenhead as well. So going to be a great atmosphere for that fight.
And then obviously we've got Fowler with Scarf. Scarf's coming up and has made a statement by beating Flatweight on Channel 5 last time. Obviously, how do you see that playing out? Because obviously we've got Fowler losing to Fitzgerald. Do you think that's gives Scarf a bit more momentum and a bit more confidence?
I think there's people will certainly be looking at Fowler thinking that he's not unbeatable. You know, Fitzgerald not only beat him, but he had him on his bum as well. And again, I think a lot of people talking about that fight, giving Scarf a lot of chance. He moves very well, you know, and sometimes that can be a bad style for Anthony Fowler. But Fowler's been looking great in the gym. And again, everyone talking about the next fight. Same like with Callum, you know, Canelo at Anfield and stuff like this, but not worrying about what's in front of him. And if he doesn't beat Harry Scarf, his career's not in great shape, so it's a must-win fight.
That's what I mean. With a good amateur background, everyone had high hopes for Anthony Fowler. Yeah. Now, we lost on a close decision to Fitzgerald. If he does come through Saturday, is that a fight that you're hoping get next year, the rematch?
For sure. It's a big fight for the Northwest, and you know, now it's got the British title on the line as well. It's a must-make fight, but he's got to win on Saturday and hopefully win by looking good.
And with his experience, you don't think he'll overlook Scarf at all?
I think he's made that mistake before with Fitz. You know, although people say he overlooked Fitz, it was a great performance from Scott Fitzgerald, and he deserved the victory. And I don't think he'll be making that mistake twice.
And then obviously we've got down the lightweight, we've got Tennyson versus Craig Evans. Now, it's two very good operators. Craig Evans has proved his level in the sport. And again, make or break sort of thing for Tennyson.
Yeah, I think I rate Tennyson highly. I think he's got a very, very strong puncher, and I think at 130 pounds, sometimes he was a little bit frail, particularly around the body. I think he's going to move into 135 nicely. I think he's going to be a threat for anyone. Craig Evans can really box. He's slippery and he's a bit awkward as well. Great trainer in Gavin Ruiz, and I think it's a great fight. It's going to be our Facebook fight at about 6 o'clock.
Brilliant. I mean, moving away from this card, obviously they've talked Britain and world boxing is Ruiz versus Joshua. A massive fight, and it literally is make or break for Joshua with a surprise shot loss to Ruiz last time. Do you think Joshua looked past Ruiz, and do you think that's why he may be lost?
I think you've got to give Ruiz credit. You know, he's the better man on the night. He definitely wasn't as focused as maybe he should have been, and he probably didn't take the threat as seriously as he should have done. But you learn from that, and I can tell you this time he definitely has done. So I think you'll see a different fight, and it's going to be a huge event.
Do you think people are underestimating Joshua, because Joshua is an Olympic champion, which a lot of people forget?
I just think people write you off very quickly these days. You know, you have a bad performance, you get hurt, you get knocked out in the heavyweight division, and now you're overhyped. You're a bum. People don't realise the White win, the Brazil win, the Klitschko win, the Parker win, the Takam win, the Povetkin win, you know, and the Olympic gold medal as well. So he's a great fighter, and he's really fired up for this.
I think personally, from a personal point of view, I think Ruiz is a world-class fighter, and I think I certainly think you yourself thought it, and that's why you got him to fight Joshua. But when the fight was announced, I personally put on Facebook that people shouldn't judge a book by its cover, because people saw a sort of out-of-shape Ruiz and then a big, trim Joshua. Do you think the public underestimated Ruiz, and do you think they told you that you've taken an easy win?
That it was a joke fight, and who's this guy, and what an easy win for AJ. And then he won, and everyone said to me, "Why did you pick Ruiz? He's really dangerous." So you know they change their opinions all the time, but this time it's a different fight, and 2 weeks on Saturday.
And what's next for Billy Joe Saunders? I mean, everyone wants to see the Canelo fight or Triple G.
He'll be watching this fight carefully, because you know, he'd probably want Callum Smith or the winner of this fight in a unification fight. So we'll see what happens over the next few weeks.
Brilliant. Thanks for talking to us at Into Boxing.